What up, Facebook? What up, brothers? Welcome to My Life Monday with Mike, your mentor. Thanks for joining in with me. If you're watching the replay, thanks for checking this out. Appreciate any love you want to show me my way. So if you're new to this page, quick introduction. My name is Mike King, and the reason I started this page is because men are leading desperate lives of loneliness. We're lying to ourselves. We're lying to others about how we feel, about what we think, and we're not showing up being our true, authentic selves on an everyday basis. We walk around wearing masks. We ask ridiculous questions to each other like, so what do you do for a living? Where do you live? What kind of car do you drive? All these questions that are really just measuring sticks so that we can compare ourselves to the next guy. We're really not having deep, vulnerable conversations in making real connections with those people in our lives that we come across, and it's depriving us from having true satisfaction in our lives and enjoying the things that we're fortunate enough to have, especially here in Western culture. And I know this because that has been my life for almost 38 years. I grew up without a father who was in and out of my life because he was in and out of prison. And when he got out of prison the last time, he disappeared. And it started this pattern of him reappearing every couple of months, only to then disappear again for a number of years until something tragic in our life or some life event would happen and he'd show up again for a couple of months and then disappear again until he died when I was after I graduated from college. So looking back on my life, you know, I was always curious about why can you have people that come from tough situations do something with their lives, and you can have other people that come from those same tough situations or worse situations and not do anything with their lives. Right? Not make anything out of the gifts and the talents that they've been given. And reflecting on that, I've been able to identify two things in my life. The first one was the grace of God. Without God's grace, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be alive. I wouldn't have been able to have the hope that I needed to overcome the challenges that came along in my life. And secondly, I had mentors in my life. Mentors that I actively sought out in the books that I was reading and learning about other people who faced trials and tribulations and how they overcame those things, and the satisfaction that they experienced from doing that, and the things that they gained, and how it made, how doing that made a difference in their life, right? And that we all have a choice no matter what happens to us. There's always a choice on how we could react. There's always a choice that we can make on how we think about the situation. There's always a choice that we have to make on how we're going to move forward on this, and I also had men who planted seeds in me, right? Seeds of wisdom, seeds of encouragement, seeds of hope, who took me alongside and brought me into their families, and shared meals with me and showed me through their actions what it was like to be a good father, what it was like to be a good husband, what it was like to be a productive member of society and to treat others with respect and with honor. And just like they planted those seeds in me, now I feel like I'm called to plant those same seeds in other men. It doesn't matter if they're younger than me, and it doesn't matter if they're older than me, because wisdom is wisdom. It has no bias. It makes no judgments. You either want it and seek it out, or you don't. It's as simple as that. So there's the reason behind this page. Basically, if you want to know more, you can always go back and check the other videos. You can start with the Sunday sermons. That's where I talk about my life and all the things I've been through. So tonight on My Life Monday, typically what I do is I try to talk about my life and what I've been through the previous week, and anything that stuck out to me and has made a difference that I think would be worthy to you guys. And one of the first things that I want to talk about tonight on My Life Monday is I actually want to read something to you and it's in this book, right? So on Fridays we go through what's called the Quest for Authentic Manhood by Dr. Robert Lewis, and that was a course I went through at a time that was very trying in my life, um, and I'm actually going through. So they took that course, and because it was older, they redid it and broke it down into 6-week sessions, and the men's group at my church is going through one of these sessions, and it's the series 33, right? Which is a great precursor to the authentic manhood if you're ever interested in getting into it. But there's a story in here that I was reading. This is my second time through this. I don't think I paid attention to. What is my lip? I don't think I paid attention to it the first time I went through this about 5 years ago, and it caught my eye this past week as I was reading through this, and I just want to share it with you because it speaks to what we talk about here on this page about being a man. And then I want to tell you a little story about something that I had to deal with actually tonight that I really didn't want to at first, right? So let me read you this. One of the longest journeys a man can take is 18 inches from his head to his heart. He moves from figuring to feeling so he can become all of himself. By becoming able to identify, explore, and express what he is feeling, a man becomes more accessible to himself, others, and God. As men, we must bring our hearts to the surface in order to discover and tell the stories of our lives. What were we scared of back there? What hurt and maybe even still hurts? Who taught me about loving a woman? Who showed me how to be vulnerable with men? When did I become ashamed of asking questions? How did I get rage and healthy anger confused? When did survival take the place of dreams and getting by take the place of passion? What makes me apologize for being sad or even cry about loss? The answers to these questions are part of my own unique story and will open up doors of shared experiences with other men who also have their own unique stories. The truth of our lives allows us to find kinship. When one man tells the truth about himself, ironically, he is often telling the truth about the lives of many other men. We are made to fully love deeply and lead well. We are made to do so by living a life of passion, intimacy, and integrity. We find the doorway to living this life by learning how to feel our feelings, tell the truth about them, and give these experiences to God and others. To find our feelings, we must identify, explore, and express what is happening within us. Right? I mean, holy cow, I got goosebumps. That's the mantra. Those are the core values of this page, right? And why I'm doing this, because it's all about unlocking these things inside of men, giving them permission to, one, go back and look at these things, right, and to think about these things, and two, to have the courage to deal with them, with this unresolved business that took place over the years that we've been alive, and to face that, right, and to stare it in the eyes and to move past it, past the shame, past the guilt, into the freedom that we were made to experience in life, and not be shackled by these things. So I just this is part of a bigger story. This comes from the book The Perfect Loss by a guy named Chip Dodd. And there was more to this, and he tells a story about his son and his son's desire to. His son was telling a lie about hitting a home run at a baseball game, and the reason he was lying is because he wanted to be like his older brother, right? He wanted to be cool. He thought that's what he needed to do to be accepted and loved. And when his dad confronted him on it, the son confessed to his dad that he felt he would never be loved if he never hit a home run, because if he didn't hit a home run, he wouldn't be considered a man, right? And it's a reflection, right, of it's a microcosm of our lives, right, and what what we think we need to do as men in order to be considered men, what great feats of strength or amount of money we have to make, or a car we have to drive, or house we have to live in, or marry this particular type of woman. All these benchmarks, these stupid benchmarks that guys set, that we all fall victim to, me included, right? And this is just a good reminder that that's not the truth. The truth starts with us telling the truth to ourselves and to others about how we feel and what we think. So that's that. Share a little story with you tonight, right? So part of the core values of this page in the ideas surrounding manhood are leading courageously, accepting responsibility, resisting passivity, and investing eternally. Well, tonight I had to make a decision to choose to lead courageously in my family and to reject passivity. So out of honor for the whole situation, I won't share all the details, but something happened with my daughter tonight. And this was the second time this type of situation has happened with my daughter. And the first time that it happened last year, I thought it was, to be honest with you, I was taking the passive route. I didn't want to cause problems with the other parents that would be involved. I didn't want to be that neighbor. I chalked it up to kids just being kids, and then they would work through it, and I let it go, right? And tonight I was confronted with the same decision. Do I keep quiet, or do I do what a good father is supposed to do, and in an honoring way, protect my daughter's honor, and go and talk with this dad about this situation. And the last time when this happened and I didn't do that, man, I felt this conviction, right? Like this, not shame, but I just felt God speaking to me about, like, hey, this is the honoring thing to do. Like, this is a time for you to stand up for what's right. And I didn't do that. And this time, when this came around, I'm sitting right here in this chair when I heard about this, and hear those same thoughts come to me again. Like, right, like, what am I going to do this time? Am I going to sit here in my chair again and brush it off and let the kids figure it out, or am I going to do what a responsible father and a responsible man does? And so I didn't want to do it, but I got up from the chair and I walked down to talk to this other dad about this situation, and it was awkward. It was super awkward, but it needed to be done, not only for my daughter, but for his child as well. And he heard me out and said that it would be dealt with, and he actually came through on that, and did something on his end to make sure that hopefully this situation will stop. I say all that to say, like, right, like, to share with you guys, like, I don't just like talk about this stuff like and say this is what you want to do. Like, I live this stuff every day. Like, I'm always, one, reminded, and two, in some way, shape, or form, dealing with all these issues. So when I'm telling you guys this stuff, like, I'm telling myself this stuff. I'm reminding myself, like, this is the kind of person that I need to be. This is the kind of man that I need to be. Like, I need to live these values out, these truths. And if I want to, be a better man, if I want to be a better husband, if I want to be a better father, then I can't just talk the talk. I need to walk the walk. My biggest pet peeve in life is people who don't walk the walk and just talk the talk. And that's the last thing I want to be. So I hope that you guys never think that I'm preaching at you. I've been told before that I can come across like that sometimes, so I'm very aware, or I try to be very aware and cognizant of how I'm presenting this information. And I'm extremely vulnerable with you guys because I want you to know that that I'm out here. I'm doing life with you. I'm fighting the same fights that you guys fight every day. Do I look? Should I have another look? Should I think this? You know, uh, do I need to be obedient in this situation, or am I going to choose to be rebellious and do what's selfish? I get it. It's a fight every day, and like I tell other people, every day we got a choice where we can make, which is we can choose to fight the good fight, or we can choose to surrender. And one thing about me is I'm a fighter. Like, I'm not gonna back down. I'm gonna always keep moving forward. I some days I may take a step back, but over the long run, I'm always gonna move forward. Steady, steady Eddie, like a rock, just moving forward, right, chipping away. So I hope tonight, served you, and the stuff that I'm doing here is serving you. I know there's a lot of guys watching. There's a lot of guys reaching out, asking for help in different ways, whether that's just for me to listen to a situation that they have going on in their life and they need to just tell somebody, right? Like, there's just freedom in telling somebody what's going on inside of you. And when you finally acknowledge how you feel about that and what you think about that, thanks, Charles. The only freedom's the only thing that comes as a result of that. And you're like a new man. And I can see it in these guys' eyes. I can see it in their faces. Other times guys, they just want me to do life with them. They need support. They need encouragement because they don't have anybody in their lives that they're getting it from, for a lot of reasons. And I completely understand that, because guys, sometimes we're just stupid. We're just full of pride, and we don't want to ask for help, right? We don't want to admit that we don't know how to fix something. We got to get over that, right? If we're going to make this world a better place, if we're going to answer the higher calling on our lives as husbands, men, and leaders in our community, got to let that stuff go. So thanks for tuning in tonight. I love you guys. If you need anything from me, you know how to hit me up. And we'll see you back here tomorrow for Tuesday Thoughts. Have a good night.